When I was a kid, I noticed quickly that my family loved sports. Everyone in my family played a sport in college, and except for me, of course. But we always were in city league sports as kids, soccer, volleyball, softball, everything. My sister and I were close in age, so we always I always wanted to do the same sports as her. So once we got into high school, my sister played basketball and soccer. Those were her two big sports, and I did cheerleading and volleyball, so we could always go to each other's sporting events. Um, we lived in a small town, and so the sporting events were a big deal. Everyone's family came, and friends came just to watch, and so the games were always really fun to go to. So I remember this one Friday night, my sister's basketball game when she was on varsity her senior year. I was a sophomore in high school, and everyone was going to this game because it was our town rival. And as this game was going on, the crowd kept getting bigger and bigger because for the first time ever, the female basketball team wasn't completely horrible and they were actually winning games. So I just remember my mom and dad were there, my grandparents were there, my cousins that all lived in town all came to watch, and all my friends were there. So I was sitting with my friends, and so on this basketball team with my sister was like her best friend named Angela, and they'd grown up playing sports together. So I felt like Angela was one of my good friends too because I was always around her and her family, and she was always with us. So this game, it's like halftime, and I decided to go sit back with my parents, and then the game starts again, and my sister and Angela are both playing in this play. And I remember this next 20 minutes like it just happened yesterday. Angela gets the ball, and she's dribbling down the court towards where we're sitting because we're sitting like at the baseline. And she does a layup, and it makes it, and everyone's screaming, and she comes back down, and you couldn't hear her shriek because everyone was clapping and so excited. So everyone kind of kept going. They didn't notice at first, but once it got quiet, we noticed that once she came down, it's like time stopped. Her bone in her leg basically came out right at her knee, and I could see it, and there was blood everywhere, and she was just shrieking so loud in such agony, and I can remember those screams so clearly. And so she's sitting there, and someone's dad, who was a doctor, came down to put some pressure on her leg and kind of soothe her because there weren't paramedics there. So I think everyone in the crowd was calling 911 at that moment. Um, and for the next 15 minutes, she's just like sh- screaming, crying, and it was just so painful to sit there and watch and be helpless as she was in such pain. And so they evacuated the gym to give her some privacy, and only her family stayed in. And we ended up going to the hospital later that night, and they just did surgery all night on her and told her family that she may not be able to walk on that leg again without a cane. And so it was really cool for my sister and her to even bond after that and go through therapy. And I'll forever remember that moment. And now she does walk again, but of course she can't play sports. But that moment changed me, and I feel like it just happened. So